Morning, friends.
Good morning.
It's such a pleasure to be with you all after a lovely week. I hope it was as good a week for you as it was for me. I learned a lot about myself. I want to remind everybody to silence your cell phones so they don't bother the service. And we're looking forward to our message from Maurita this morning and special music from William Penn and the Everlasting Rick.
I'm not sure that was a good idea.
Yes, it's good.
That's my clue. Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm so glad to see you all, to welcome you here, all those who are in the room, and those who are looking at us over the internet. It's a pleasure to have you all here, everyone, and to be together, to celebrate, to remember. Yeah, Sundays are special. They really are. And I'm so glad I'm here with you. Well, I'm going to start this morning with a Workhorse Affirmation from the Bible. It's one of those things that you pull out of your pocket lots of times, maybe during the day, especially when you're facing something that you haven't done before and you're not absolutely sure how it's going to go and if you're going to be able to get through it. Listen to this from Philippians, the 4th chapter. I can do all things through Christ, which strengthens me. That's a good one. I can do all things through Christ, which strengthens me. Now, for many people it would mean, I can do all things through the power of Jesus Christ when I speak to Him. I acknowledge His presence, His power, His love for me. But then we interpret it also in another way. Not that that isn't useful, that isn't correct. But we refer to the Christ as the Christ in us. The Christ, meaning our soul dimension, our spiritual powers, given to us by God, and forever there within, available, powerful, the Christ within. So, whichever way you intend it to go, both are wonderful. I can do all things through Christ, which strengthens me. I can find my way through this list of instructions that I don't quite understand. I've got to interpret in my mind. I can do all things through Christ, and this difficult person, this person who's troubled, and I have to deal with him. This bill that find a little bit more money for. I can do all things through Christ, which strengthens me. Or the happy times too. The times of getting together with people you love. I can do all things through Christ, and it's going to bless this gathering. It's going to make it even more harmonious and fun and loving, and a memory to cherish. I can do all things through Christ, which strengthens me. It's a workhorse. It really is. It applies to everything. The trick is to remember to use it. We forget. And we just fume and fuss and, oh gosh. But it will help. It does help. Always. So try to remember it. Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through Christ, which strengthens me. Okay, now we get to do our statement of being. And as you say it, don't say it real fast. Give yourself time to think about what you're saying. We're not rattling off words. We are affirming things that we believe, things that are true, and things we need to internalize, feel. Okay? God is all, both invisible and visible. One presence, one mind, one power is all. This one that is all is perfect life, perfect love, and perfect substance. I am the individualized expression of God, and am ever one with this perfect life, perfect love, and perfect substance.
Well, I'm going to take you back a little bit today and see if you remember 1957. Go down again. Recognize that? Oh, my papa, to me was so wonderful. Oh, my papa, to me was so good. No one could be so gentle and so lovable. Oh, my papa, he always understood. Gone are the days when he would take me on his knee, and with a smile change my tears to laughter. Oh, my papa, so funny and adorable, always a clown, so funny in his way. Oh, my papa, to me was so wonderful. Deep in my heart, I miss him so today. Gone are the days when he would take me on his knee, and with a smile change my tears to laughter. Oh, my papa, to me was so knowable, always a clown, so funny in his way. Oh, my papa, to me was so wonderful, and in my heart I miss him so today. Oh, my papa, oh, my papa, oh, my papa. Well, maybe that would take you back a little bit. Faith of our Father, living still, in spite of dungeon, fire and sword. Oh, how our hearts beat high with joy when we hear that glorious word. Faith of our fathers, holy faith, we will be true to thee till death. Faith of our fathers, we will strive to win all nations unto thee, and through the truth that comes from God, we all shall be truly free. Faith of our fathers, holy faith, we will be true to thee till death. Faith of our fathers, we will love, both friend and foe, in all our strife, and preach to thee as a faith, we will be true to thee till death.
This is the time in our service when we get still. We just try to relax, release, and allow the moment to hold us. Allow the presence of God to fill us. Or rather, our consciousness of the presence of God. Because God fills and surrounds us all, always. God is omnipresent. That was the great revelation, the experience of our founder. And everything we do in divine science, everything we say, either agrees with that or we don't talk about it. It isn't part of our belief. God the good, here, now, within, without, everywhere, in everyone, in everything. We exist in this presence, we're nourished by it and supported by it. We can agree with it and live lives of triumph, of beauty and power and joy, of prosperity and positive influence. Or we can ignore it. We can go the way of our whims, desires, sometimes drives, and not utilize the power, the beauty, and the abundance of it. Our choice, always. God has given us the power of choice, and today we choose to remember and allow ourselves to just check our bodies momentarily and relax our faces and relax our shoulders and our backs, relax the whole body, and allow that concept of omnipresence to soak through us. To heal us, to help us, to bless us. Thank you. Bring it on. Bring on every good, every opportunity for growth, for understanding, for peace, for trust in God. Bring it on. Bring on the healing, the whole making, the balance that everyone needs in life. And not only do we include this for ourselves, but we include it for the people we love. That tide of good, that flow of opportunity and uplift and healing. And we include our Valley Community Church prayer list. We hold in consciousness today every friend and member of this church, whether they're here or not. We hold them in consciousness, if not in memory. God knows who they are. And if not right now, then certainly sometime in the past, they profited, they were blessed by joining us and hearing these truths. Beloved Father, Mother, friend, inspirer, companion, thank you for your blessings on all these people associated with this church in the past or in the present, in the flesh or no longer with us physically. Thank you for the good that they are experiencing, that we are experiencing, and for that ongoing flow of good. In the next 90 seconds, reach out mentally into the present and into the past. And know God's blessing, God's presence right where you and everyone else is. Recognizing the availability of this unlimited good, this presence of love and understanding, support. We extend it to the present and the past and to the future, knowing that it is eternal. For you, for them, for everyone. Remember this. Rejoice in it. Right now. Unto me, all ye who suffer, all ye who worry, all ye who long for greater peace, all ye who long for greater prosperity. All ye who long for love, all ye, come unto me. Come unto me now and in the future. Whenever life reminds us and for that inner assurance that this is truth, that this is real, this help, this presence, this love. We give deepest thanks. Amen. Shall we say the Lord's Prayer, the translation from the Aramaic, the language of Jesus by Rocco Errico. All together now. Our Father, who is everywhere. Your name is sacred, your kingdom is come, your will is throughout the earth, even as it is throughout the universe. You give us our needful bread from day to day, and you forgive us our offenses, even as we forgive our offenders. And you let us not enter into materialism, but you separate us from error, because yours are the kingdom, the power, and the song and praise from all ages, throughout all ages, sealed in faith, trust, and truth. Well, today, as William reminded us, is Father's Day. How can we forget anything like that? And I want to acknowledge all the fathers in the room and to congratulate you on all your efforts to be the very best parent you could be for all of your children. Everyone understands that that is one tough job. And it is, of course, a very powerful learning experience for every father as well. And all the rest of us honor you and compliment you on this very special day, Father's Day, and hope that there are many, many to come when you are held in the kind of loving regard that you are today. Thank you. And today, of course, we think of all of the rest of us, that is, think of our own fathers. All of us think of them. I'm certain that most, if not all, of our fathers are thought of and remembered with love, gratitude for the important part they took in our lives. They may have had their flaws, things and events that they struggled with. Nobody's perfect. But as adults, we appreciate much better the challenges that they must have had. We can see a lot clearer the problems that we ourselves might have caused them. We can remember with a little inner glow the love that they had for us. Sometimes they could show it, and sometimes they weren't good at showing it. But it was there, nonetheless. The things they did for us went out of their way, and we feel that same warm inner glow of love for them, no matter whether they're still with us in the flesh, or they now exist in what we call the greater reality, that is, some refer to as eternity, and others perhaps think of them being in the arms of God. We give thanks to them, wherever they are. And if there were some fathers who were unable to express love and support and gentleness to us because they never got it, they never learned it, they never received it from their father, today is probably the best day of all to look past any problems we had with them and seriously consider the pain, the shame, fear, the insecurity they probably felt growing up. When we put ourselves momentarily into their shoes, it permits us to look past the negative behavior they might have experienced or expressed, the negative things they might have had with us. And we can see past the behavior and into their basic identity, a soul created by God in His image, learning, unfortunately, negative, destructive things from their family of origin, sometimes suffering deeply through the early experiences of life, and see if we can't find within us the capacity to love and forgive, to feel a positive connection to that father when he was an innocent child. Feel a connection to his spiritual dimension rather than just the ego, the personality, the source of negativity. And as we do that, we release ourselves to a much greater inner freedom from the pain and resentment that we might have felt concerning him. That's a wonderful Father's Day gift to give to yourself as well as to your Father, wherever he may be. Try to see him in that way. But at any rate, happy Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to one and all the fathers especially, and to those who are with us and those who are no longer with us. Well, today I'm going to be talking about something that isn't specifically about Father's Day, and the title of it is The Enemies You Don't Know. One of my favorite prayers is the 23rd Psalm. So far, I have not been able to find a full explanation of the 23rd Psalm in my go-to sources, that is Dr. Lamza and his translation of the Bible from the language of Jesus himself, from Aramaic, and of course Rocco Errico as well. I've looked through the books that I have, and I've got a bunch of them, and I don't find the 23rd Psalm. So I gave myself permission to give the various phrases in this well-loved psalm, to give them metaphysical meanings, that is, express what I know to be spiritual truth in them. So, as I speak a little more, that'll become a little clearer. But today, I wanted to talk about Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil. A couple of sentences, that's all they are, but they're power bombs, really. Now, George Lamza and Rocco Errico would probably be really shaking their heads about what I'm going to say. But you see, we all give ourselves permission to make certain phrases in Scripture our own. That is, interpret them so they have a special meaning, and useful, helpful meaning for us. Now, the first thing I want to talk about is about the reference to mine enemies. The spiritual truth is that the only true enemies we have are enemies within ourselves. Now, most people think of enemies as people who have something against us, you know. Or maybe we have really negative feelings toward them. Maybe something really unpleasant happened between the two of us. Or possibly we have, we have pretty accurate knowledge that, well, things happened and they took advantage of me, and I really feel negative about them. That's an enemy. In fact, there might be somebody who does wish us ill, might even be actively determined to harm us in some way. I dare say, though, that there isn't anybody in this room that has that kind of an experience. Or we can be assured because we have a different approach to life. And that different approach is to be ongoing in our consciousness of the presence of God, the good, right here, right now, no matter where we are. Now, the existence of a person who would be an enemy would be literally impossible because of the spiritual law, like attracts like. See, we're not sending it out, so we're not going to get it back. We attract what we think about with emotion. We're not thinking about stuff like that. We're not thinking hateful thoughts. We're not. And I don't believe that anybody in this room is addicted to a whole bunch of negative feelings and thoughts. But if perchance there is somebody that you regard as an enemy in this world, then you need to reconsider what you've been believing about that person. And you'll find out why. Don Miguel Ruiz wrote a wonderful little book called The Four Agreements. It's worth reading, it really is. And if you just read the one chapter on the second agreement, it's worth the price of the book. And what is the second agreement? The second agreement is never take anything personally. Never take anything personally. Now what will you say this? He points the truth out that nothing other people do is because of you. It's because of themselves. Yeah. They're living in their own mental world with all the early programmings that they have received and all of the feelings, the beliefs, the opinions about themselves that they are now projecting on you. Yeah. Don't take it personally. Do not. Even if it seems very personal. The negative thoughts that they might have about you are actually what they deeply feel about themselves and are not admitting that. Don't see it. Can't process it. Don't take what they say or do personally. It's all about their inner world. It's not about you at all. You have no external enemies. You can actually look at these people that seem to hold some negativity. You can look at them with a sense of sadness for them because of the pain and the negativity that they are carrying around all day, every day. And that's a heavy burden, physically, mentally, emotionally. Feel sad for them. However, the enemies within are a totally different story. The enemies within are the negative ways that we define ourselves. If you've been ashamed or embarrassed about something about yourself physically, mentally, or emotionally, that is an inner enemy right there. If you've made a mistake and you haven't forgiven yourself for that mistake, that's an enemy. If you're critical of yourself, if you don't encourage yourself, if you're not a cheerleader for yourself, if you automatically dismiss a compliment, if you don't give yourself just a little pat on the back when you've been especially kind to somebody or helpful to somebody else, we need to acknowledge those things that we have done, gone out of our way and helped with. If we've achieved a success, small or large, doesn't matter. If we haven't acknowledged that to ourselves and said, yeah, that was good. That's unfairness to ourselves. That is not being fair. Those are the enemies within us. Now we go back to the 23rd Psalm and find out how to dispense those enemies, what to do about them. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies, the inner enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil. God has prepared a table. God has placed a banquet before us, a banquet of truth about ourselves which we can devour. We can fill ourselves full of it, full to the brim. So, what is God saying about us to us? What is the spiritual truth of that banquet that is forever placed in front of us? God is saying, you are my image. I created you with all my qualities. You are unique, irreplaceable. No one is exactly like you. No one can do what you do. No one can fulfill the role that you fulfill. I know you to your depths, and what I see in you is good and very good. I love you. I cherish you without limit, without measure. I love you unconditionally. You are my light, wherever you are. You are so creative, so wondrously imaginative. I made you that way. You are strong. Your thoughts are breathtakingly powerful. You are fully capable of finding solutions to every challenge. You are constantly growing into a fuller expression of my nature. My nature in you. You are wise, peaceful, understanding, buoyant, beautiful, unlimited. You are my beloved child. That is the banquet of truth that God has placed before us and that we need to eat of constantly. It's the truth of us. Those enemy messages inside us, those untruths that we've whispered to ourselves for so long that we don't even hear them anymore. They just sort of, they're there kind of unconsciously. Those need to be noticed, and we need to discard every single negative message and replace it. Replace it with the truth of ourselves, with what God knows about us and what God is saying to us always. And how about that final verse that I quoted? Thou anointest my head with oil. In Old Testament times, the holy anointing oil was only used in consecrating the articles that went into the tabernacle. They were used for that one purpose, as well as the ordination into the priesthood. It was used then. It was used for the high priest. It was used for kings. The oil sanctified. It set apart the anointed object or person as holy. This beautiful psalm is declaring that you are holy. In other words, you have been sanctified by God. So, silence those inner enemies. Silence them. Absorb and revel instead in the banquet table of God before you always. In the certainty that you are His holy creation. You are His beloved child. Shall we go with it? And accept the truth of ourselves. Know the truth of ourselves often. It isn't bragging, it is truth. We are always growing into a fuller expression of God's nature in us. We are strong, strong. Our thoughts are creative, so they must be positive so that we attract nothing but wonders, blessings, good to ourselves. Our basic nature is good and very good. We are unlimited. We need never limit ourselves in what we do, what we receive, what we can be. To know this, to celebrate it, to eat the banquet must be our purpose, our focus, our desire in life. Thank you, beloved Father, Mother, friend, and companion. Thank you that it is so. Amen.
I say thanks for the things you've done for me. Things so undeserved you gave your love for me. The voices and angels cannot express my gratitude. All that I am, all I hope to be, I would all to thee. To God be the glory. To God be the glory. God be the glory for the things He has done. Just let me live my life. Will be pleasing, Lord, to Thee. Much again, and again, and your Calvary, with His love, He has saved me. With His power, He has raised me. To God be the glory for the things He has done. Just let me live my life. Will be pleasing, Lord, to Thee. Once again and again, will you go to Calvary with His love? He has saved me. With His power, He has raised me. To God be the glory for the things He has done.
Thank you, William. Thank you so much. And now we will have the blessing of the gifts. We thank you so much for the tithes and offerings which you send us or put in our basket. It helps make everything possible here at the Valley Community Church. Thank you. Thank you. Shall we bless the gifts together? Today, I acknowledge God, omnipresent, as the source of all good, as the source of my good. With this acknowledgement, I accept His will, which is abundance in every aspect of my life. I release all thoughts of lack and limitation, and I am open and receptive to the increased flow of abundance to me right now. I joyfully accept the gifts of life and give freely of the special gift that I am. Through me, God omnipresent blesses and multiplies this gift for all. Thank you. Well, I have a very special privilege right now to tell you that somebody who you probably thought was already a member is becoming a member of our church formally today. And that is a person who has taken classes and who is here every time almost the door opens. We rely on him, we value him, we think he's a wonderful, wonderful person and a beautiful example of what we teach, because he's always so kind, so outgoing and so pleasant. And so it is my very, very special privilege, and Doug is going to bring the membership book to him for him to sign this morning. My very special privilege to welcome him into the formal membership of the church is Bob Brooks. God bless you. Stay where you are. This is just formalizing something that has been a fact for a long time. He's one of us. And by the way, today is the 20th of July. I believe you have to put the date in.
Yeah, he's doing that. Good job, that's it. Now we need to clap for you.
And thank you all for accepting me in our family.
Oh my. What a valuable member of this group you are. I'm going to have some announcements now.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, a lot of people already thought Bob was already a member, and so he's always been home to you, so there you go. So I'm so glad that you decided to join us formally, so thank you, Bob. We have a board meeting tomorrow at 5 a.m. 5 a.m. I'm here 5, yay! That's my kind of time, 5 p.m. Kind of had to change the time because I'm still taking care of Nancy's pets, and so it would be difficult for me to get here and take care of them at 4 o'clock. So I'll change it to 5 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. If anybody has, if any of the board members, I think everybody is okay with it. If not, let me know and we can change it again. Okay, the flowers today are for Father's Day, so feel free to take some of those. They are beautiful today. I mean, as always, Linda just does a wonderful job. As last week I told you, I had a gentleman clean out the front of the columbarium because it was really a mess. So we haven't decided yet what we're just going to put mulch down, or what we'll be talking about that probably at the board meeting tomorrow. But it cost $350, and we had asked people would they donate some extra money to cover that cost. And Laurel hadn't checked this week, but as of last Sunday, we had $270 of $350. So thank you so much for that, and if anybody is still willing to put some money in the gardening basket, we would appreciate it. Because going forth, we're going to also discuss having somebody probably work at least one day a week at the church to take care of this yard. It is overwhelming for just the church members to take care of when we only have a few people that can actually do the physical work. So that will be something that we'll be talking about, and so that will be an expense that's coming up. So some people like to donate money for a special cause, and so if you want to do that just for the gardening, you can put it in there. And even if you donate online, I fixed it now so you can donate money and say, I want this for whatever. So you can do that. So anyhow, we appreciate all the help that we always get. And we're still going to have some work days because goodness knows there's always something around here to do. You can come to start doing one thing and you end up doing 9 or 10 and get none of them done. So anyhow, so I appreciate everything that everybody does, and I've said that many, many times. So anyhow, as you know, I think the state of emergency is going to be lifted at the end of the month, but going forth, some of the things we're still going to continue to do, like we're still going to just come in the front door and go out these side doors. I think it makes it easier. That way the speaker can speak to the people. The baskets are up here in the front. We're not going to be passing those. We're going to continue to leave them up here. The prayer basket and the donation basket. So just going to I think it makes it easier, the flow of things to come and go. So we're going to leave that in place. We put new signs up today saying that if you've been fully vaccinated, you don't have to wear a mask. Going forth, because we do have a lot of people in here that have some health issues, we're going to ask that if you have not been vaccinated or fully vaccinated, that you wear a mask. And if there's an issue with that, please see me, because there are circumstances where some people can't be vaccinated, and we don't have an issue with that, but we just want to be careful with our people. We've come this far for a year and a half, and we certainly don't want anybody getting sick now. So anyhow, we appreciate all that everybody did following the rules and regulations for the last year and a half, and I know it's been a stress for some people, but hey, we hung in there. Being a small church, we were able to continue to have service, and I know a lot of churches are still not meeting, and some of them are still meeting in the parking lot. So we've been able to maintain our services, and so I'm very grateful for that. So journaling back on Pam took a vacation, so she's back to journaling on Tuesday. Wednesday night is also the book reading and coffee here at the church, and we had said something about having a cookout on the 4th of July, or it's for Labor Day, so I only had a couple of people tell me their opinions, so I'm going to go with that. We decided to probably have it in Labor Day. It would be a little bit cooler, and maybe have more people. Things would be more open, and more people will come. So we'll have it for Labor Day. Also, the newsletter is going to be coming out sometime in July. So if you have any article or any news that you want to go into the newsletter, please see Ann Dealer, because she is the editor of the newsletter. So, and she does a terrific job, as you all know, so it's a great job. So if you have anything to go in it, please put it in there. Maurita, do you have anything? Douglas, do you have anything? Okay, all right, let's move on.
All right, we come to the end of our service, and we have been for some time now closing our service, not just with a benediction, because we know that God is blessing us all the time, but taking it as an opportunity to bless our country, which needs a great deal of help at this time. So, shall we each in our own way, over the next 90 seconds, offer prayers for the blessing and the guidance in our own country that will make life better in every way for our own people and for this world. And we give thanks knowing that our prayer makes a difference, makes a change, a subtle but unmistakable change in our own loved country.